What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty League Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And a quick reminder to play. We are in a new month now, so make sure to download and play The Surge and Conan Exiles, both offer for free on PlayStation Plus soon. Make sure to download those, play those, and come back at the month for Plus Club. Speaking of Plus Club, we just had Plus Club on Reddit recently. We had a great conversation. Finally, fucking it picked up. We had a bunch of people in there talking. So if you have subscribed to the channel from Reddit, first off, welcome to the community, the channel, and thanks for participating. We will be talking about those games at the end of this month as well. So we do that every single month. And also another quick reminder that we are also in a new month. So we have Game of the Month. The game we're playing is Civilization 6. Make sure to play that as well. If you have not played that, that is, what would you say, like a turn-based strategy?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a turn-based strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. Play that. Come back in the month as well for Game of the Month. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Discord link down below. Talk to us anytime, all the time. Yeah. So with the amount of episodes we did last week, we did 5 of them in 1 week, which was quite a bit. We're going to have kind of a relaxed episode of Tasty Tuesday. We're going to watch a couple videos. It's pretty much going to be a fucking TLG Reacts. But before that, let's jump into the first bit of news, which is kind of... kind of news, but kind of like speculation.
Right.
So first bit of news. Gearbox. That's the fucking guys. Gearbox accidentally put out a tweet recently that they deleted that said Mayhem is coming September 13th. Pre-order now for the gold weapon skins pack in reference to Borderlands 3. They deleted this quickly after. There's also some information that came out that this game will be exclusive to the Epic Games Store. Before we jump into those two things real quick, you did not watch the Borderlands 3 trailer with me in the reaction thing, but you've seen it. Mm-hmm. What'd you think of it?
I also commented on that video. Mm-hmm. I think it looks great. I was very pleasantly surprised by it. I think, and I'm sure a lot of people actually share this sentiment, I was kind of worried because it's been a while at this point.
We'd been talking about that for a while.
Yeah, and the writer... is different at this point, and a whole other slew of problems that happen when you take long breaks from games. Well, besides actually getting a really awesome trailer to kind of show that the feel for the game still seems the same, that it is still chronological or epic, whatever word you want to use in that regard, to the series, which I love when people can do that. But the fact that when they're up there talking about it, he said that they've been working on it for 5 years and they know it's important to people. That was really comforting.
That was really important for me to hear. Yeah.
So
he said he understood how important it was to people, the game itself,
for sure.
the series. So kind of emphasized that they get it, that this is really important that they nail this
for sure. And Borderlands 2 is one of those games that you can go up and start talking to someone about video games, and there's a very good chance they've played Borderlands 2. So I mean, I'm glad they're taking that seriously, because they could just be using it as a good opportunity to do the cash cow thing, and obviously they'd burn their bridges at that point. But
and Gearbox has had a track record of making some pretty subpar games in between Borderlands and Borderlands. So it does make you worry a bit if they've lost it or not.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. I would say it's probably one of the few times I've actually been excited for something. And actually, this year has done that a couple times to me, which is kind of crazy. Because last year, I know you were super excited for a bunch of games coming out, but I was just kind of there's some stuff I want, but it wasn't a bunch of stuff that really called out to me in that regard.
Yeah.
This year, I got the expansion for 14 coming out. Borderlands. There's a possibility for Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool things. Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you. My tongue decided not to move all of a sudden. I think that's this year as well.
I have problems talking all the time. Yes.
That's a question mark.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they gave a release date.
Maybe they didn't.
Yeah. But I think there's a good chance it would either be this year or absolutely next year.
Next year, for sure.
A lot of those games have to come out soon because we're moving into another console cycle soon.
For sure. Yeah. Anyways, definitely excited for Borderlands.
Yeah. So with that, what do you think about the prospect of it possibly coming out September 13th? I want to just say also in my reaction video, I said that it would probably most likely come out this year from what I saw. So it's not very surprising for me to see that. And also, what do we think about it potentially being an exclusive to the Epic Game Store, which has been a huge problem for fandoms and Valve. People are fucking pissed every time this happens.
Okay, so the release date thing, I mean, obviously, if they tweeted that, there's a good chance that is it. It looks like there was a speculation that October 1st is going to be the release date, so that is a little bit different from September 13th. And as far as the whole Epic Game Store, I'm going to sound like a broken record here on this one. I completely understand it, 100%. I also understand why people would be upset, but at the same time, like, the industry is gonna change eventually. So, I don't know. I don't know how to really say this without coming off kind of too harsh one way or the other. So I think that, you know, what they're offering, companies are going to be very enticed to do, to the point where they might just force us to move over. So
yeah, I don't know about that. Chiming in real quick. September 13th sounds right to me. I looked at that trailer. It looks really fucking done. It looked very finished. I speculated that it's going to come out this year just from what I saw. So if it's, you know, that tweet coming out from the Borderlands 3 fucking Twitter, I feel like that's got to be real. That's got to be true. So they said that they're going to be talking about something this month when it comes to the game, and I'm sure they'll have a presence at E3, so I'm sure we'll get a release date. I would not be surprised at all if September 13th was correct. And if not, then I still think it's going to come out this year. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't, just because of how done it looked. And they've been working on it for 5 years. That's 2 years more than the average game. So, I mean, like, that's a long fucking development cycle. This game's probably pretty fucking ready. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they fucking announce some kind of beta coming out in the next couple of months. So we'll see. As for the Epic Store, you know, it's not for sure, but there is reason to believe that it could be on there, and we've seen it happening with other games. I completely understand why people are pissed about this, just because you've invested years and years and time and money into your Steam account, and you know, if you're like me and you have like pretty much like 600 games on your Steam, and now there's one game you have to go buy on the Epic Game Store and you don't really want to, and their store fucking sucks. It's garbage. Obviously it'll get better, hopefully. It's newer, but it's just not it's not a good environment. It's not what you want, and I completely understand that. And I think the biggest thing that's really fucking annoying about this, outside of some people who have just decided out of nowhere after they've already taken pre-orders to fucking bounce over there, which is bullshit. It shouldn't be an exclusive. I think they should fucking just sell it on both markets. The benefits for them of selling it over there is fine. I'd like to see fucking analytics of if it was sold on Steam or sold on the Epic Store, and see how much it would sell. Because they're saying that the new Metro game, they're like, oh, it sold way more on the Epic Game Store than it did on Steam. It's like, yeah, the last Metro game didn't sell that well anyway. This game had way more advertising. Mm-hmm. It was advertised on Steam. And then they fucking moved it over. So it's impossible to know if it would have sold more on either of the two. I guarantee it would have sold more on fucking Steam, just because there's more people there. Anyway, I'm kind of babbling at this point, but I think it's bullshit. I hate that they're doing this. I think your relation with your customer base is very important. And there are a lot of things that people are self-entitled about. And in a sense, you know, it is just a different place you got to buy the game and launch the game through. But there is something about having, you know, years of investment in something and spending money in that and having your whole collection here. And now some people are deciding, because they're making a little extra money off the sales, that you need to exclusively buy them over there. It just seems like bullshit when they could be. And we also know that the Epic Game Store is paying people like $2 million to somebody recently to sell their game exclusively on there. So they are incentivizing people to move over there as well. And it's damaging people's relationship with the developers, which I think is really a shame, because that's kind of like a common thing nowadays, is developers doing whatever the fuck they want, which they should. They can do whatever the hell they want. But being really negative to the customers being negative to them, and just kind of like making everything really shitty. So I wish we could find a middle ground, and I think that middle ground should be sell it on Steam, sell it on Epic Games Store. If people love it on Epic Games Store so much, you'll make your money over there. But people are most likely going to buy on Steam because fucking that's where they're at home at. It just doesn't make sense for Epic Games Store itself to want them to do that. They want those sales over on their side. So they're going to incentivize, pay them more, and give them fucking money, which we've seen happen already. So I think it's really shitty. I think it's kind of a shitty way to go about things. And I'm hoping when it comes to Borderlands 3, they don't do this. Or at least have some kind of quick timed fucking exclusive there. I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's really divisive when it comes to the communities. Nobody's happy about it. There's nobody stoked that it's over there. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I get why they do it. I
No,
get
for
why
sure.
they do it. There's no confusion there. I think it's just really damaging to enforce that, especially out of nowhere. No one's stoked about the Epic Games Store. It's all fucking built off of Fortnite. That's the people over there on that. It's just lame. But the good thing about it, Steam, Valve in general, who is having their own problems, they're fucking around and taking away features and getting more restrictive on how they do things, which is bad in their part. They need to get their shit together. So maybe this will push them to be better and start offering something better for the customers and better for the developers. So maybe it's their time to also pay them more.
yeah.
The exclusive shit's bullshit, though. I fucking hate it. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say on that?
No,
You feeling September 13th?
I'm feeling this year.
Yeah.
The date's kind of irrelevant for me.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about Borderlands 3 possibly coming out September 13th? Do you also think it's going to be an exclusive on the Epic Games Store? What do you feel about that? Do you think it's fun? Do you understand where they're coming from? Do you think it should be on Steam exclusively? Do you think it should be on both? Let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to that topic. Second bit of news is a video we're going to watch. Jeremy via Discord, a member of the community, posted in the Discord, Rage 2 new gameplay trailer, upcoming open world action FPS game 2019, which is a weird way to title that. But this is new gameplay trailer. So we're going to watch this, we're going to react to it, and then we're going to talk about it and move on to the next thing. You ready?
Yep.
Stoked for Rage 2?
So far,
Yeah, me too. Me and you both liked Rage. This is a different game now.
very different.
So just with some similar vehicle stuff and weapons, pretty much. Outside of that, it pretty much looks like a different game. So, all right, let's go in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Rejected! 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 He's heating up! He's on fire!
All
I
right.
don't even know what the fuck's going on right now.
Whoa, baby! Pow pow puppy chow from downtown! See ya! Wing it! You just sliced her head right off!
Is this like a mode with an announcer?
Bam! Tang tang boomerang! Whoop, there it is!
Come out today.
Loud noises!
So this kind of today is this some like April Fool's
Should've had
thing?
your vitamins. Ho-ho! Like
See, that's the thing that kind of sucks about the news recently.
Can't touch this!
Or today, as I was like, fucking, what's real, what's not.
Boom shakalaka! I'm in the wrong game.
Printer out to receive. That was very quick. What was that?
Tonight marks the beginning of the cleansing. Tonight marks the rebirth.
I think that pre-order was some kind of cheat code you fucking get.
This looks like a job for the Wasteland superhero.
That was a flying vehicle. Damn.
this is fucking straight chaos.
Fucking A.
Bye. Ooh, that was neat.
I'm gonna be honest here. I really hate the fucking campy nature of this trailer, but what I'm seeing is really fucking cool.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you on that. The getting to see all the weird physics and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting it's so weird because it's like
That was cool.
Rage, Borderlands, and now I'm starting to get a little Just Cause in there as well.
Yeah, especially when it shows like almost tethering and shit. It reminds me of Just Cause.
One, just like the emphasis on like flinging people around physics and whatnot. And that's all it right there.
Yeah.
Jib, 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 jib.
I'm really seeing that kind of amalgamation between id sensibilities and fucking Avalanche and what they do with Just Cause. The physics look good.
No, it looks.
I fucking love physics in games, so just like seeing that heavy physics of people flying, but also not like just ragdolling off.
As everything visually has been an absolute treat. So
Yeah, it looks
far.
amazing.
Damn.
This
That was
is
a gross ass
not.
mess.
This is not the first Rage game.
Not at all.
Our latest ass-kicking champion.
Except for the vehicles.
Yeah. Well, and like the fucking
Wing stick or whatever it's
yeah,
called.
and the weapons. There's like a continuity there. I like that we're seeing all these vehicles. That's Just Cause. Seeing a flying vehicle is interesting though.
The gadgets. And
That's cool. This looks like something to blast.
so it seems like you can just like flow.
May 14th.
That's right around my
slow.
birthday.
Coming up. All right, what do we think?
I mean, it was kind of, we were, obviously talking through the whole thing, but yeah, it was just a complete visual treat. Being able to see like just how much is in that game, just like eye candy wise, physics. This gonna sound weird for some people probably, with the jibbing. Vehicle combat looked cool, normal combat looked cool, gadgets looked cool, and like we kind of said, it's really kind of reminds me of a lot of games kind of mashed into one, but it definitely still feels like, and even though it's funny because Avalanche is making this game, but you could tell like it has a pretty large part in it because I can just see like it all over it. I can also see Avalanche though, all that like fun
There's
that's
a
happening.
real big cross pollination there.
Yeah, so it's a really neat marriage to witness.
Yeah, if you would have told me a couple of years ago that those two were making a game together, I'd be like, that's weird. But it looks like it's working out really well. I think you're getting a very id game there with the sensibilities of Avalanche and their pedigree in open world carnage and chaos, which that game just screams it. That game looks just like fun. It like just fucking chaotic fun. The original Rage was a mix between a standard id game and a car combat game. It had cool ideas but didn't really nail it. This game looks like it's gonna nail it. It's changed its tone, but the car combat looks fucking awesome. The first person shooting looks awesome.
They fluid.
And fluid, yeah. It looks like it plays really good. Looks like you can throw out some stuff and do a bunch of stuff at the same time, which is cool. I like functionality in games. And it's just like Just Cause, it's a game that looks like you're going to be able to get creative with what you do, and I really appreciate that because it gives you, stories to tell, experiences to have, and it just looks like a blast. I think the world looks interesting. There's a lot of varied areas there. The enemies, are crazy looking. All the mech shit is really interesting. The flying vehicle we saw was really cool. I didn't even know that was really in the game. We saw a motorcycle, which is pretty cool. That cheat code thing in the beginning, that kind of threw me off. When we're watching that, I think it's a pre-order thing where you get a cheat code where that guy fucking narrates.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Because they had like voice acted by some dude. I don't know who the hell that is. Let me know in the comments if you know who that guy is.
Definitely have a loop on that one.
Yeah. I was watching that. I was legit confused. Then you're like, it's April 1st. I'm like, wait, are we being fucking bamboozled here? And that's cool if you're into that. It seems like something you would just get like in the game after you beat it or you unlock that, and go in the options and turn that on if you want, but whatever. That doesn't do anything for me, but everything else we saw there, really fucking cool. And of course I appreciate the Danny Brown in there. I'm a fan of him.
I'm sure YouTube won't be.
This is true. I just thought about that. Now that I told them too. They heard it and they heard me say it and I acknowledged it. When they're like, you got a copyright fucking I almost said a fucking strike. What is that called? Copyright claim. When we get a claim, it normally says, do you acknowledge that this isn't yours? And fucking I just said it wasn't, so they don't have to ask me. Anyway, the game looks awesome. I can't wait. It's coming out very soon, the 14th of May, which is going to be, it's right around the fucking corner.
For sure.
So yeah, really excited. Anything else you want to say on that?
No.
Let us know in the comments. What do you think about Rage 2 new gameplay? Are you stoked for this game? You're not stoked for this game? Did you play the last one? What do you think of that game? What do you think about this new one? If you didn't play the last one, what do you think about this one? Like, did you prefer the old one? Did you not prefer the old one, but you're into this one? Do you not like either of them? Let me know everything you think about when it comes to Rage 2 and the new gameplay trailer. Also, clear up that fucking beginning part for me because I'm really confused about that. Last bit of news, and by news I mean another video we're going to watch, is the PAX East 2019 gameplay demo walkthrough of The Outer Worlds, which is Obsidian's new game. We saw a thing of that, like a teaser thing for it recently. Thing by thing I mean trailer. A teaser for it recently, and had an interesting, almost like 1950s sci-fi look to it, but they are going to give us a walkthrough for 20 minutes, explain the game, and yeah, we're going to react to it and then talk about it. Anything you want to say before we get into this? What's your anticipation level for this?
Curious, I suppose.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, Obsidian is a really weird niche company that has a following, but doesn't have the notoriety I feel like they should. It's really weird. Like, people love them.
They do.
But people also talk shit about their games, and there's a bunch of people who don't even know who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
So, I feel like this game has the potential of maybe being their breakout because it's a AAA game. Everything I've seen on it so far looks really big. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It looks kind of like it's going to be taking... a little bit of that Fallout route to it. Maybe try and take some people from that since they have worked on Fallout before.
Maybe.
But yeah, curious is a good word for it because I don't know if I'm excited for it or not yet. So we're gonna find that out today. You ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
This is literally the build from what? Thursday?
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah.
Or something.
So you're seeing something that's hot off the build machine.
Yeah, so this is, like I said, the City of the Elite. This is Byzantium. We're going to walk into the main square here. The orrery in the center there, that's a representation of the colony and all the planets in the colony. But as you walk around, as we walk around and look at stuff, you'll notice that on some of the walls, there's holes and cracks and grime. From a distance, it looks perfect. But even Byzantium is starting to show some wear and tear. You can see the facade. Basically, all of this is just built on facades of prepackaged or pre-made, prefabricated housing.
But it's kind of awkward to walk around with our gun out, right?
Oh yes, put that gun away, Charlie.
And you have people with you, right?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's look at our companions. There's Felix, who you might have seen before. And there's Nyoka, a big game miner from the Forbidden Planet Monarch. So we're going to walk around here, and Charlie's going to check out some of the architectural details.
Bijou.
And show how it's not everything that it's cracked up to be. This place has been quarantined because of sprats. Over on this other side here, I believe there's a wall where you can see
See that
the
popping?
pipes and
And now I looked away right when it happened,
guts of
apparently.
the, building.
The character just
Cracks
showed
in the
up
walls.
out of nowhere and start walking.
And of course, everywhere you look, there are ads for products you can
They were
buy and
very good
find
about not
around the
talking about it.
colony. This particular colony had 10 different companies found it, so you are exposed to advertisement at all times.
So what we're going to do is we're going to actually show you part of a little quest here. Megan's going to walk
I'm
us
also
through
getting a
it.
Deus Ex
We've
vibe.
already got the
Not its visual
basic
style,
beginning
but
of
the
quest, so she's going to walk
level
us through it from
design.
there. Take it away there, Megan.
So we're headed to Odeon Pictures, which is one of the film studios that makes all the propaganda movies in the game, which you can see one of the posters there. And one of the directors, Maverick, saw you on the street, and he thinks that you have what it takes to be the next big star for his company. So he really wants you to go in and audition for one of the propaganda movies. So the receptionist can greet you when you come inside. Oh, did you guys want to talk about the poster?
Oh, we're going to say
The
something about
Titus Andronicus.
I like the look of it.
Titus Androidicus.
Andronicus poster.
Although I really feel like it's like an alternate
Featuring Burbage
Bioshock.
2000 and 3000.
I just love our movie posters, and obviously we have a lot of Futurama fans on our staff.
But mostly Tim. No, it's a great show.
Yeah, so we're going to head upstairs to the audition.
And we're going to turn that down slightly.
Normally they'd be chatting back and forth. We don't have our voice done yet.
Felix got to fix it.
Yeah.
So we just use the intercom to let them know we're here. And they say, great, come on in. So they just want to let us know that they're going to be using live weapons in the audition for optimal product placement and to add a little bit of realism to it. So
And that sounds good to me. I can work with that.
This also reminds me of Fallout. Like in its movements and
No, what I love
systems.
is here on the right is a set that looks like the monster planet Monarch, which by the time you get here, you will have seen that planet and been there and realized that this set must have been made by somebody who's probably never been there.
it's very realistic looking. So we're going to head up to our mark. Oh, actually, if you head to the right first, I saw this earlier when I was playtesting it. I don't know if it made it a spill. If you go over to where the set is real quick. In the right corner. Maybe it's not there. Oh yeah, we added, there's a dead Burbage 2000 from an earlier film. I just came across that randomly and was like, oh my gosh.
I feel there's a lot of like insider stuff here
Anyway,
that I'm
okay,
not.
so we're gonna go get on our mark.
Nobody is. I don't know what the fuck
Following,
they're
yeah.
talking about.
And these are real actors who think that you're also an actor and are following the script.
And I'm going to act with my gun.
Oh well. So you're
Sounds
playing
very
the part
Skyrim,
of an
Fallout
evil captain. Well, actually, no. You're the
talking,
good guy. You're stopping them from trying to steal all
view.
the supplies from the town.
So you can see a little bit of the mix of the dark and the silly.
Yeah. So I think we'll go with. Yeah, you want to go with
Pirate?
the UFAL pirate.
We're going to ham it up here.
Quality acting.
Yeah. And your companions will jump in with their opinions on this stuff. I think we should remain stoically silent.
We're going to be the strong, silent type here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't show off how smart you are.
As you said, Charlie, we'll
Like
let our
you have-
gun do the talking.
Speaking of guns,
Product placement.
Which you can find in the game.
And Felix loves mayhem, so he's very impressed by that.
It's weird they're showing the game off this early in its development, where there's not even any voice acting.
Humor in this game.
Yeah, I still laugh at the humor every time I play.
Yeah, it could just be a transparency thing
Like,
too,
you
though.
should read the flavor
At least
text on
when
every object.
Exude word
Almost like
was
early access,
fury.
where you can just be there for the development.
Yeah, but on a game like this level, it's weird.
Neoka's not impressed.
Yeah, she didn't grow up on this planet.
I mean, obviously they probably couldn't wait to show it, but I can't think of a whole lot of games that are, this kind of budget
Yeah.
that they'd be showing off this early like that.
I think it's time, Charlie.
All right.
So you could play out the quest. Oh wait, go.
Oh, make your eye twitch.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, make your
Seems
eye
like there's a
twitch
lot
first.
of
Wait.
decisions to make in dialogue, though, which is kind of cool.
Can't miss that.
Yeah.
Speechless. Right. So wait. So you could play out the quest normally through dialogue options, but I think we definitely want to go murder crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more entertaining for this.
Yeah.
So here goes.
It's more authentic.
Safety saw.
I think it's a little ridiculous that they're using live weapons, and then they're just actually going to start shooting at each other.
These poor actors, they just thought they were coming in for a normal day's work.
They got paid to do a job.
And Maverick Johnson, the director, he loved the authenticity and your.
Yeah, he's coming up to let you know how your performance was.
I thought the performance was pretty good.
Here's our director.
Knowing Charlie, I don't think he's going to live long though.
Yeah, so it's nice because you're actually rewarded for playing how you want to play. Like, he thought it was great.
If this had VATS in it, I would think it's a Fallout game.
Yeah.
And,
I think we should kill him too. I'm just saying.
Damn.
Wait, hold on. Is that his head? Oh,
At least they're playing like a
Yeah.
lot of people would.
It vaporized.
and we take all of his stuff. 'Cause that's what we do.
All right, so now we're going to have some fun outside and show these people what we really think of their elite town.
Now, during the game, if you're on a regular playthrough, you're unlikely to be fighting in this town. Although you can kill everybody and anybody if you want. But we just thought it'd be fun to show you what it would like if combat actually took place in this beautiful city.
But let's be sneaky about it. Let's put our gun away.
Yeah, so no one will suspect.
They did say earlier, though, that you're on that set of a planet you've already been to, so it's kind of cool that there's going to be, I mean, it's called the Outer Worlds, but it's kind of
Right.
cool that you're going to be able
So,
to
tactical time dilation is where
go from
we,
planet to planet.
Trying
Right.
to give opportunities both for people who aren't the best shooter players, an opportunity to, in the normal fast-paced gameplay, slow it down a little bit, get their bearings,
Without
and then
having
make
VATS.
decisions that actually will help them during the combat. We have location-based hits where shooting them in different spots will actually inflict certain status effects, giving you bonuses. So as things get extraordinarily difficult, it is a pretty handy tool to have. Nice gun. I might take that later.
So eventually you need to get into that building, I believe.
Now, you want to dress the companions appropriately?
No,
That's right.
This is a restricted area where we don't have access, but I'm gonna just try walking in and see what happens.
Oop.
It's off limits, so they don't want me there. I'm just gonna ask some questions. It's cool.
It's one of the first presentations I've ever seen of a game that I feel like was not rehearsed.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Funny
wasn't.
thing, I have one
I feel
of
like they're
those.
just wandering around doing
But we're not
shit.
going to give it to him. You could give it to him and bribe your way in that way, but we prefer a more direct approach.
We should flatter him a little bit. Should be promoted.
So there is this interrogation system we have in the game using disguises when we do have them equipped, where if you have high enough different dialogue skills, you can talk your way through these through restricted areas.
That's pretty cool.
So here's where you actually could give him a grenade launcher. Because he really wants one. But let's not do that.
We need to equip Felix correctly. I think he's under armored.
All right, let's go in here real quick. I'm gonna put the pink briefcase on his head.
He even has a temporary icon. That's how.
Now we're ready to start fighting.
That helmet.
Oh my god.
I hate it.
Fucking
Cute.
That helmet is available for sale in the game at your nearest Spacer's Choice vendor.
And we should get stuff started with a bang.
Let's
That's
go.
right. Let's do it.
Or
do
kick to
it,
the
Felix.
face. All right, Felix, have fun.
Drop kicked.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
So Tim, I'm shooting these crazy purple bullets. What are those?
Yes, this is a plasma rifle that's been modified to shoot something called N-rays, which,
Effects are cool.
when they hit living people, they make them glow and do N-ray damage to themselves and people around them. It's an awesome damage type.
Oh, he's already dead.
I believe Felix and Noka have been. Oh, this is Nyoka.
It's interesting. There's like cutscenes in the combat.
Yeah. Oh, it just
It
again
cuts
reminds
off a
me
little
of
bit
these
now, but
slowdown
before she does
moments
that, she takes a
in
swig
Fallout
off of
when
the
you get the
flask.
critical
It
hits.
really defines
Yeah.
her character well.
So,
She's good to have in a pinch.
Now we're gonna.
With what Bethesda's doing with their games right now, though, and these guys have an experience
And
with
this
those
is using
games,
the
it makes sense for them to.
So this is our Inferno side
Benefit
that you might have
from
seen
that,
from
yeah.
our
Well,
earlier
and
trailers.
everyone
But this is actually
who
modified to
played
do
and
corrosion
liked
damage.
New Vegas,
And corrosion damage.
Which I
wanted
feel like
them
is
to make
growing and
more.
growing.
wanted them
These
to make
mods are
another.
also available for
Yeah.
purchase at nearby weapons vendors.
At fine retailers everywhere.
But yeah, I'm gonna. Don't mind me.
Damn.
Oh, and civilians.
One thing though
yeah,
that
it's,
is
you know,
nice to see though is because it's not on the same engine,
Top hat person.
it looks better,
We could.
and the impacts they're not just like taking the damage, like they're actually moving when they get hit, which is nice. So it seems like a different game in that sense. But you can see a lot of the ideas and
Influence.
inspiration.
I believe
Yeah.
that man's using a grenade launcher.
Yes.
Available from Hammersmith.
Oh no, that's
Count the ad drones too. That's so mean.
Charlie, what's that you have in your hand there?
Well, this is another one of our science weapons. So we've made some science weapons, and if you don't know what those are, they are some weapons in this universe that aren't quite normal, and they all have strange and weird effects. We've talked about the shrink ray before, but this one is called the
There's a
mandibular
shrink ray?
rearranger. So if you're guessing what that does, it rearranges mandibulars.
This was a bug in the game. It started as a bug, and we liked it so much we decided to make a science weapon based around it.
Looking very transparent.
this nice lady here, we're gonna rearrange.
Ew.
So compared to other melee weapons, this one doesn't deal as much damage, but it actually will slow people down, and if you hit them multiple times, it will freeze them. As well as
Hey.
do some rearranging of faces.
And like every science weapon, the amount of that slowdown is proportional to your science skill. So if you want to make a combat character who basically has a high science skill and specializes in science weapons, this is it. It's also funny.
I'm interested in playing the game where you can make a character and build and stuff like that,
We
and
have
an
a
open
science
world
weapon
where
for
there's
every
decisions,
weapon type in the game,
like Bethesda
so
used to do really well
You don't have to be a melee combat character if
in
you don't want to.
modern time,
Right.
because we're not really getting a whole lot of those.
What's the other one we showed? We showed
The shrink ray.
We showed the shrink ray. So you've seen the handheld one-handed gun, and this is the one-handed melee weapon.
Thanks for your stuff. And let's head into the bar here. Don't mind me. It's cool. It's cool.
I love this
It's weird
show.
there's almost no resistance,
Cute.
though.
Hey!
Like, they're just walking
looks
around
safe.
hitting shit. Nothing's happening.
And,
Yeah, like how there's not like a constant alarm or something
Felix
going on.
kicks
Or
someone.
police or something like that.
Well, they did say kill everyone though, so it sounds like there's probably a finite amount of people.
Sure, but you'd assume that in any city, you start shooting and killing people, there'd be a lot more
Right.
people showing up than just the 3 people who are standing in the street.
Okay. And I'll take your stuff in slow motion. Oh, and they corrode.
Ugh. So gross.
All right.
Yeah, like the people outside are just chill with it.
Yeah, it's
I can
weird.
just- I can just go around and keep
I mean,
doing
you can
stuff.
just-
I'm curious on how far in
One more
development they
person.
are with this.
Actually,
I mean,
let's have Naoka do something.
Okay.
they've
They-
actually developed quite a bit of the game, but
Start
it does seem kind of
on
early still, yeah.
Miney.
That also reminds me of XCOM.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
This is overkill.
Oh, I'm actually taking damage.
Hell was that?
And what, you were dying there.
I know.
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
Aw.
It's okay. Games are supposed to be fun.
Yeah, well, I give you that 100%.
Okay. That's why we
Char-
can-
Charlie's going to do this all day if we let him. We should
Yeah,
probably
that's
open it up for
definitely
some,
a good
some
point.
questions.
A flaw.
What did you get?
I don't know. I can't read from here.
Xenophobia.
Oh, that's cool. There's flaws in the game.
Canids. Oh, because they had a pet canid, and it was gnawing at my ankles.
I didn't see you
It was
kill
like
that.
a teacup size one too, and now you're afraid of it.
All right.
So, real quick before we get to questions, can we talk about the flaws since that popped up?
Yeah, what must have happened there is Charlie was getting chewed on by a teacup canid while he was fighting everybody else, and it pushed him over a threshold, because this is a save game. This occurs in about the middle of the game. So the game is monitoring everything you're doing and keeping track of how much damage you take from different things, and how much time you've gotten hurt, or taken falling damage or anything like that. So occasionally and it really depends on your playthrough, it'll just offer you this flaw. And if he had taken that, he would have taken more damage from any canid that attacked him, because he's terrified of canids, but he would take more.
That's interesting. It kind of evolves like that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
completely
cool.
optional. You can ignore the whole system if you want, but personally, I like the idea of a flawed hero.
Oh, it's
And
optional
we
too.
also
Weird.
increased the number of flaws you can take based off of the difficulty level, so that on the hardest difficulties, it is you're more of a flawed and interesting character.
Yes.
But it should be a pretty fun thing to increase the difficulty for people.
Well, cool. Thank you for showing off the game, guys.
It's very unorthodox the way they went about that. Which, I mean, both things we watched were kind of weird. So, what do we think about the Outer Worlds? What do we think about the presentation and overall interest?
So I'm still in a state of curiosity, I suppose.
Yeah, me too.
The only difference is I know what the game, looks and plays like at this point. I am not the largest fan of like Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. I enjoy them enough, but
I love Morrowind.
I'm not necessarily clamoring for it. That being said, I am intrigued.
I think there's a market for it.
I think there's 100% a market
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Since certain somebody decided that they don't give a fuck about that market.
But I do think it's got some interesting systems in place, which do speak to me because it's very pen and paper-esque, which I like.
Yeah.
And I guess I kind of want to see where the game goes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like with like polish and like ideas and stuff like that, because they showed off some stuff obviously, but I do appreciate because at first I was kind of like weirded out by the weird weapons and stuff like that, but then he was like, game's supposed to be fun. Yeah, I can get behind that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
and they're not constricted now in this type of game that is very much inspired by, Fallout and its gameplay. They're not restricted by somebody else's lore and canon. So
Yeah, it's
they
all
get to
them.
make up their own shit. So, which is kind of cool.
yeah, I don't know.
And that they embraced a game bug as a weapon.
They
is
got
interesting.
inspired by it pretty much. Yeah.
Which shows that, they're not limited to, well, it's got to be this way. Like, if they went, oh, that's funny, let's make a fucking weapon.
They're giggling the whole presentation.
Yeah,
So,
almost too much.
but overall, I'm optimistic, I would say.
I would also say I'm optimistic. I'm actually kind of mixed on that game. I think overall I am interested enough to want to play it, which is good. But I'm mixed because there's a couple things there that kind of worried me as well. So pros, I think the graphics are pretty good. I think the world is really neat from what we saw. I think the prospect of going to different worlds is always interesting in a game because it adds variety, and I like fucking variety. I hate, monotonous, doing the same thing, fucking same area, unless there's really cool loot to be had. For sure. The weapons looked interesting enough, and the world in its design is an interesting thing. I think that the combat, although it is very inspired by other games and does very much look the same as other games, offered something a little more than what you'd get from those games it's inspired by. So it does feel newer and more evolved, which is nice. Some of the cons, though, is it does look a lot like certain games that I've gotten bored of. So hopefully their new ideas will make it more interesting. Another pro to that, though, is the whole, I like the evolving flaw system, and be able to make it, builds and characters and having your own adventure. I haven't played a game like that in a while, so where I get to make my own character and go in open world and just do whatever the fuck I want. A lot of games nowadays is like open world and just blow shit up, and it's less about the decisions and having those dialogues and shit like that, which is really cool. But yeah, combat looks very much like other games, which is also kind of a con to me as well, because it reminded me too much of certain games. It looked slightly restrictive. I also think the AI looked very basic, but these guys make RPGs, so it makes sense for them to make more slower paced games, stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm super in love with it, but I am definitely interested in it. But after watching that, my interest has gone up. It is a game that I'll be keeping an eye on. And Obsidian always has cool ideas, and I think they showed a couple of them there. So yeah, looks interesting. So
Yeah.
anything else? All right. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Outer Worlds. Are you excited for it? You're not excited for it? What do you think about that presentation? What do you think about the weapons? What do you think about it looking like other games? What other games do you think it looks like? We kind of mentioned a couple Bethesda games, XCOM, BioShock. Kind of had a lot of influences, it felt like. And yeah, let me know your overall thoughts of the Outer Worlds, Rage 2, and Borderlands 3. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Gaming. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Gaming. Check out my streams on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word. Hit the notification button when I go live. We have a Discord link down below. Talk to us anytime, all time. And we are on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And if you're listening to us, you can check us out on YouTube at Tasty Gaming. We film every single episode. Yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Until the next episode, which will be this weekend. We're doing 2 episodes this week. Very happy about that. Until then, have a good week, guys, and take it easy.